Sneaky hair everywhere. Okay. Hello, and welcome to our very first podcast entry for the Tryp. This very, very special first episode is all about exploring consciousness and dipping your toes into a pool of infinite possibilities as you embark on this journey with us. By the way, my name is Alice, and welcome to Wonderland, son.
I'm Astro Junkie, and we're here to provide you with some positive vibes, pretty interesting life lessons, and a few tricks from different sources.
Yeah, it could be anywhere from blogs, line from movies, lyrics, other podcasts, and all the good stuff.
This can definitely help you make the most out of the experience.
That's correct. But just to be clear, all subjects in this podcast are purely for the benefit of our discussion. We're absolutely not claiming to be experts on anything, and we highly respect every journey is different on a personal level. We're just saying that this is merely a curated collection of information, mostly for educational purposes, that you can process on the entirety of your voyage. It's kind of like an in-flight magazine, like a guide.
It's like a travel guide. But what is this about, really?
Well, this podcast is all about psychedelics. All the positive and negative effects of it. Well, mostly positive, I hope. Anything under this realm. We're aiming to be educational as much as possible, but in a more relatable, less scientific, ordinary, everyday people kind of discussion. Like I said, we're not experts on this, and especially not scientists, but we're here to explore this wonderful gift from the universe and expand our knowledge as we go along with our episodes. And when we say psychedelics, we are mostly talking about the most common, LSD and mushrooms. There's a lot of different types of psychedelics out there that we know nothing about, many of which are still illegal in most countries.
Including where we're from, but we won't tell you that just yet.
That's right. Plus, there are a lot of fake ones out there in the market, so just gotta be careful and watch out for your dosage.
Try it at your own risk, but we're here to guide you through it. If this is your first time, you're planning to try LSD or mushrooms, we're here to guide you, so stay tuned. So we have all these plans laid out, and Alice will get you started on that.
Great. For the benefit of our first-timer friends out there, my ultimate tip for you is to plan ahead. I cannot stress that enough.
LSD is not to be messed with. We're telling you now, this is some heavy shit. And I don't know if you've tried it, like, with festivals, and I don't know how you do that. Like, you can still function and talk to sober people or drunk people. But if you want to, like, have a proper use of LSD or mushrooms, it's better that you plan ahead. And, yeah, we cannot stress that enough. And here's a consolidated list. Alice?
Yeah, I have here a consolidated list of guidelines on how to prepare for your journey. And these came from the best online sources out there. First off is highexistence.com. They even have this how-to in reverse by telling us all the myths about psychedelics. We all know Reddit, right? Reddit, Quora,
Arrowhead,
Thought Catalog. Yeah, all those are online sources.
We could also leave them some links that they could get started on reading after the podcast.
Based on all the sources that I've checked, they've all mentioned that preparing your mind is as important as the physical aspect.
Okay, so we're gonna do the guide. Like, it will be divided in two. It's a first-timer with guide. And if it's your first time and you're all gonna do it all together as virgins, then we will also give you some. We don't really recommend that, but if you're really planning to do that, then we're going to provide you some guides to that as well. But we're really stressing that your first trip is crucial. It can make or break your impression with LSD, or we fondly call it Lucy. You need to do it with someone who is really experienced. Call it like, if you're spiritual, you can call this friend or someone your spirit guide or your mentor if you're not into that juju shit. So someone who is really experienced in case anything unexpected happens, because this is a trip. A lot could happen within the whole 12 hours of your trip.
They also mentioned to clear your schedule for 24 to 48 hours, depending on the amount you will take. I would suggest you watch the amount carefully, because like I said, psychedelics are not risk-free. You can still overdose on that shit. Especially for first-timers, I suggest you take a low dose first and navigate from there. Always leave some room for recovery time, since you'll be having a hard time sleeping after the trip.
Yeah, well, actually the first thing that my hippie uncle back in the day, I don't know, they would watch like Grateful Dead before, and he would tell me like, you just have to be of stable mind. Now, I don't know exactly what stable mind means in the 70s, but based on experience, yeah, this was during the Woodstock era, and they were just dropping acid in the middle of concerts. So I don't understand who the fuck in their stable minds would do that, like with total strangers and at a concert. So, well, anyway, take my word for this, because it doesn't really take a genius to know that you need to make sure that you're going with the right people. Of course, someone has to be experienced there, and these should be the people that you're comfortable with and are of stable mind.
Yeah, and for me, having a positive state of being doesn't necessarily mean you are absolutely free from worries. And I don't completely agree with the idea that you should be in a positive mood before you can jump in. I mean, of course, you will have much more pleasant ride if you're at your optimum happy state. But I think you can still hop on that trip regardless, as long as you're prepared for potential triggers that might arise during the ride.
So what we mean by stable mind is that they do not have a tendency to go on a panic attack, and very important, but not to look down on people with mental illness. But I would advise they do not have the tendency to have panic attacks or are not going through some really dark stuff in the moment, because I have to say, it's like everything will be intensified while you're at it. While you're taking a trip with Lucy, she's gonna take your hand and everything will be in HD. Everything will be amplified.
HD.
Yeah. Everything will be amplified, so you can just imagine if you're going through something really awful, it's gonna be like 100 times worse. Like I've turned, I just saw on our last trip together 3 weeks ago, I just saw like lightning and thunder and this beautiful, beautiful cloud over sunset turn into fucking Dormammu. So you can just imagine. Actually, a love child of Dormammu and the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. So it's just an innocent cloud with a little lightning and thunder, and that escalated to something that would like swallow me whole. And I was just sitting there, and I wasn't even going through shit. It was just I just experienced my first bad trip. And also, if you're a recovering addict, maybe this will help you. Just make sure that you don't really have symptoms of schizophrenia. And if you're depressed and have not been harming yourself, this might actually really help you deal with some of the things that you're going through. And one of those things that it did to me was about forgiveness. And you can take this to broaden your perspective. That's basically it.
I completely agree with what Astro Junkie said. It's just that you don't necessarily have to be like super happy or super positive on that day. You can be sad or feeling lonely or, like not optimum to the highest level happy.
Because it's not really possible.
Yeah, it's not possible. It could help you change your perspective of your current situation. Like, it's even being used as a cure for depression.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Look up Dr. Humphrey Osmond. We're gonna post a link after this. He is actually BFFs with Aldous Huxley, the guy who is famous for his novel Brave New World. When he was on his deathbed, he actually asked his wife to inject him LSD. So that's a great way. That's a great way to leave the world, right? So you can just imagine. But that's a wild card. What if it's a bad trip? It's gonna be like a descent through hell, or I don't know, like a good flight to heaven.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. So for me, it could potentially help you change your perspective of your current situation. Like if you're sad, you can turn things around and, maybe feel good about yourself on that particular day. And I think with the right attitude and if you set a goal, you will still learn from the experience regardless if it's good or bad.
Yes, that's actually the most important thing. It's really, really how you make of this. You really have to set an intention. If you're depressed, actually what Lucy does to you is that it helps you see the world with fresh eyes. It changes your perspective on a lot of things. So I personally, I would really suggest that if you're stuck in a rut or if you're feeling depressed, then you might need to be shaken up a little bit, and Lucy would be your best friend. Let her guide you. Let her take you there. Let her take you interdimensional trip, girl. And but setting intentions first and foremost. So okay, after choosing the right people that you go with, that you trust. So the second thing that you do is to set intentions. Set your intentions. Like, what were your intentions on our last trip together?
Oh my God. My goal was to be productive. How can I be productive during this trip? During and after the trip? Like, I really need to set something up in my head. And
were you also going through something? Like, how about with your feelings? Oh
It's a mix emotional roller coaster, whatever you call it. Like, I was so stressed at work, relationship stuff. I don't know. I don't know if I can.
Did it give you clarity? Like, for example, can you cite like one?
Oh yeah, example? Definitely. Well, for starters, I became creative. Like more creative, yeah, than my usual.
Which is like from 10, you became like 100.
Well, I wouldn't say 100. I still need a lot of work to do on myself. But yeah, it kind of unlocked something in me that before I was already drawing, painting, and stuff like that. But now it kind of made me want to do more and create more. And yeah, it kind of unlocked that artistic self.
Right. And I don't know if I should share this. It might take a long while. But like on my first trip, there was not even like an intention. I didn't even know it then. I was just with Alice. I was gonna say her real name. No. But like, so it helped me gain perspective on a lot of things. One of them was like getting over someone. And a friend actually, the day before, no drama though. Like, I'm just sharing this experience because there's no drama now. But like the day before, a friend just told me, he doesn't even know what I was going through. He was like just telling me, when you're on acid, you can just recall like any favorite moment in your life, and you can go back to it like you were really there, like you were reliving that moment. So when I was there tripping balls with my friends in our hotel bed, in the first like 3 hours or maybe 4 hours that we were tripping and just listening to music, I was traveling, man. Like I was traveling, and I could see where my brother was, what he was wearing. Holy and shit. I could see us bird's eye view from the room. I could also see my face, like close up, all at the same time. I was actually smiling, and I would see myself smiling and all the facial expressions. But anyway, so I went back to that moment with my ex-boyfriend because I didn't get a closure, and I was just lying in bed with him, and I told him, like, because everything was clear during that time. See, it really changes your perspective. I would not have thought about it. Like, that was possible because we didn't have any closure. So I told him, like, hey, I forgive you.
How many years have you been?
I tried getting over him for, like, 2 years already. That's pathetic, I know. But, like, yeah, but he was like, 2 years. Yeah, that's pathetic, I know. And then during that trip, it made me realize, like, why the fuck am I carrying all this dead weight? It's not really why. How did I live this long just carrying this, weight in my heart? And I was just telling him, it's just so easy. It made me realize, like, forgiveness is so easy. We didn't even have to talk. I was just telling him, like, I forgive you. And I'm letting you go now. And I don't know. So we just got to talking, and basically that was just it. I was just telling him, like, I forgive him, blah, blah. You deserve peace. We both deserve peace.
That's good.
Yeah, and okay, so that was done, right? And then this happened on a Saturday. I got to work Monday. And all of a sudden, this guy, this ex-boyfriend that I haven't talked to in 2 years, just messaged me out of nowhere. And I wish I was making this up. But yeah, he messaged me out of nowhere. It's like, hoy. And I was like, what? I was just like ready to attack. But he was like, hey, oh my God, you're talking to me after 2 years. What the fuck? Astro Junkie. You're talking to me. And I was like, what is this? This is so random. And he was like, you just popped into my head. And it's like, I popped into your head when? And it was a stupid question, but it's like, he said, you popped into my mind like last weekend. Like, when last weekend?
Whoa,
like, was it on a
crazy.
Saturday? But anyway, we got to talking, and I told him that, like, yeah, I was shipping on acid last Saturday, and I kind of talked to you. And he was like, well, this is what I like about him, because he's also into spiritual stuff. And he told me, like, yeah, that's nice that you tried acid too. And he said, maybe you sent me a telepathic message or something like that. Yeah. So he believed me too. It sounds crazy every time I talk about it with friends, but yeah, so even without intentions, my point was that it really helps you a lot. Like, it enhances your power and makes you see things a better way. Because when you're there, there's no dimensions, right? Like, it's not the flat normal world, right?
Yeah, I mean, those things that you see on movies where people are tripping balls and they can see cartoons and stuff like that coming out of the real world. I mean, I didn't experience that. I've never. Yeah, I think that's exaggeration. I've never experienced those things. Like, I've had pretty good visuals, but closed eyes. Like,
Closed eyes.
yeah, but not like I can see you and you're melting. Not like that. Not necessarily. I don't have those kinds of hallucinations.
And listen, kids, this is coming from someone who just took a double dose, like a total of 500 micrograms.
Oh my God, yeah. I bet there's a lot of people out there who's done way more. Yeah, but yeah, for me, that's
your max.
Yeah, that's my maximum. Because, I don't know, my brain is like literally running, and then,
So fast.
yeah, it was so fast. Like, I have a thought, and then I want to jot down my thought.
Yeah, because you were writing all the time.
Oh, yeah, I was actually documenting it. And then I was like, what the fuck? A thought, and then, oh my God, I forgot it.
Oh, I have another thought. You know what? Never mind.
Yeah, that was it. Exactly. Like, oh, I have another thought. You know what? Never mind. It's crazy. And so, yeah.
About setting intentions, the second thing.
Surround yourself with positive energy.
Yeah.
By being with the people you are comfortable with.
That's point one.
Yeah, better with someone you love and who loves you back no matter what. Like, no judgment at all. And
If you're a couple and you're both like very sure about each other, we would highly recommend Lucy. Let her take you there. Let her take your relationship to another level. You see people, by the way, when you're in Lucy, you see people without any ego. You just, without any walls. Because we're so used, I don't know, we just don't notice it, but everyone has their own walls. But when you're on Lucy and you're tripping with your friends, you all lose that wall. You just see them as they are. You just see them for what they really are. It's all just energies and their aura and everything. I don't know. I just sound like juju bullshit. But yeah, that's true, right? Back me up on this.
yeah, totally. I mean, for me, it's the most intimate thing that you can do with someone.
Yes.
It is so intimate. Like, I like this.
Can you tell? Although that's for another topic, though. LSD sex. But anyway.
Yeah.
That's for next episode.
That's for next episode. But I like what Thought Catalog wrote on this portion of their blog. Don't take LSD with strangers or even acquaintances. When you are on acid or any drugs, you are in a vulnerable place. Who knows what will pop into your mind? You will need a confidant who can comfort you without judgment. It's okay to be picky about who you have your trip with. You don't want to babysit someone while tripping balls, you know?
Exactly.
And here's the good part. Avoid doing LSD with a couple because they will want to abandon you to go have sex with each other.
Yes, never be a third wheel. If in the normal world you're okay with being a third wheel, no, do not do it on LSD. Because they will just get horny and they will just leave you the fuck behind. Again, Alice, tell them about your experience.
Oh my god, this is crazy. I mean, I was with a couple. We did it
At a beach.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they disappeared. I was alone and I was so scared. I was like, fuck, holy shit.
Right?
Yeah, there was bonfire, there was and then so what I did, I was like, okay, just relax. Maybe I can just sit and relax by the beach. And then but then when I lay down on the sand, I was looking up and fuck, the sky was melting.
What time was this again? Around what time?
It was around midnight. Yeah, midnight. And it was pretty cloudy. And I was like, fuck, oh my god, I was so scared. I was even talking to myself. And then I realized there's a lot of people around me. And I was like, fuck, okay, I need a diversion. Like, I grabbed my phone and tried talking to myself with my phone on my ear so they won't think that I was crazy. And then after a while, I started thinking that I'm crazy. So what I did was I called a friend who's like really close to me, and
Let's call him Peter.
oh my god, yeah, and he's the one who introduced me to psychedelics.
Yeah,
so
same here.
yeah, so I called him and started talking. Oh yeah, he's our spirit guide. And I started talking to him until my bad trip passed. So yeah. Oh, then choose a place that you know you won't encounter any unnecessary interactions with anything, actually.
That's the third advice. That's a third. First time, guide to the galaxy. So that's your third one. Let me just repeat that. Find a place where you won't be disturbed by any sober people. So what I wrote here is that, like,
it's okay.
So just go on a nature trip. Find a place you can go where there's not a lot of people, especially no sober people to talk to you. Like, hello, ma'am, sir.
Oh my god, that hello, mom, sir. That's funny. Yeah, people, anything actually, not just people. Anything could be dangerous animals. For God's sake, some people are tripping in the jungle or wherever, you know. So dangerous animals, unsafe objects.
Actually, when we were tripping the last time, there were like dogs barking, and I was like almost freaking out. But it was like during the last 6 hours of the trip, so we were not on the peak anymore. So it was okay. But yeah, the best would be a place where there's no one to interrupt you guys during your trip, especially during the peak hours. Like, you will peak in the first 6 hours, and you will have a hard time talking or enunciating your ideas. This happened to me and Alice. We were both trying to explain some thoughts to each other, and we were both stuttering. Or we would just lag behind and eventually forget what we were saying, like, because there's this, like you said earlier, it's just so fast. Like, there's a rapid flow of thoughts, and it's hard to get them all out. And it's like, you know what? Never mind.
I think there was one moment where we were laughing our asses off, and then we forgot what we were laughing about. That was funny. Yeah, and also another thing is to prepare a nice warm space to crash. like with toilet and everything, of course. Yeah, and some food and drinks for your convenience. I would totally invest on some good quality, healthy food. You know, don't forget. Yes. Don't forget to set aside lots and lots of water and a little bit of money with you, just in case.
Okay. So yeah, what do I need to add? Bring some. Oh.
That was Nikki.
But bring some of your favorite food, those really flavorful and healthy ones, because your senses are going to be heightened. I mean, everything is going to be heightened. So you're going to be experiencing like real life, high definition on everything. You will even experience synesthesia for those like lucky enough. I experience it all the time, and I've never experienced that until the trip, and even until now, it still lingers. Like, when I listen to really good music, like Chrome Sparks, like, man, I can taste the fucking music. And now I understand what the hype was about with Jimi Hendrix. Again, it all goes back to the 70s culture with all the acid and stuff like that. So your senses are going to be heightened. You'd want to experience it all, including, of course, your taste buds. I don't know. If you're into Indian food, that would be amazing. So you can just imagine the fiesta in your mouth. All the taste, all the flavors. Yeah.
Yes. Also, I mentioned it earlier. Don't forget to set aside lots and lots of water. We experienced it before. We forgot to buy water, and we were like at 2 a.m. I think that was 2 a.m.
With all the dogs barking, by the way.
Oh my god! At 2 a.m. we were walking outside, and there's no one, and not a single store was open that night in that particular area, and we're all too lazy to go to the main city just to buy water. Like we were scouring for water.
Okay, so we were really successful at choosing this location where there's not a lot of people, right? But we were not successful. We didn't really plan this out. Don't be like us. We didn't really plan this out. We didn't bring water and snacks. So at 2 a.m., like around the last maybe 4 hours of the trip, we got thirsty and hungry. But there were really no stores around. And good thing there's like like an angel. Like there was this hostel manager. They were still open, and they gave us free water. But that was just it.
Yeah, it was funny. Okay, so those are the 3 major keys to prepare for your trip. Secondary would be your activities for the day, like creating a playlist. Download it if possible. Have it available offline as much as you can. You don't want to be dealing with internet issues while tripping balls. Yeah, right? You can also prepare a selection of movies to enjoy. I suggest, that's the first 2 hours of the trip. And have something educational or anything related to what you want to achieve on that trip. Again,
also, just to interrupt, can you tell them why you have to wait for like the first 2 hours? Because
it'll only kick in somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour. Sometimes it's 2 hours. I don't know. It varies from person to person.
How do you put acid again in your mouth? Can you explain to them how you do it? Like, you have to put it under your lower lip.
Yeah,
put it under your lower lip and like behind your lower lip. How do you describe that? Yeah, behind your lower lip. You put that
in between your lower
lip and your like gums.
Your gums.
So what you do is like for your first time, even if you're gonna take just a half the tab, it's not really a tab, by the way. Usually how you get it is in paper form. So if you're only gonna take half, what we took was a 250 microgram. So for my first trip, they just cut it in half. Peter, the spirit guide, cut it in half for me. And then he taught me, like, you have to melt it first down on your bottom lip. So you just let it sit there for about, like, maybe 30 minutes until it softens because it's really hard. It's like cardboard, right? Yeah. But it's, like, a bit thinner. I don't know how to explain it to you better, but, yeah, it's really hard. And you can't just swallow that shit, even if it's just small. So you just let it sit there, and about 30 minutes in, you just swallow it. And yeah, you wait for about like 40 minutes to an hour for it to kick in. Mm-hmm. And the first thing you will see are the visuals, right? Like it's like a rainbow. I don't know how to explain it. Like a rainbow colored flare or something in the room, and then it's all like the typical acid like images that you see. Like it's all. I don't know how to explain it better. Like rainbow-ish.
Or you can pretty much just look at a pattern or something and
Just fucking Pinterest that shit.
and if you see if it's moving a little bit, it's like a flowing water or something, then you know that you're about to embark on that journey.
And yeah, when you raise your hand and you just move it, like the colors will follow. I don't know how to explain it. Your aura will follow, so you can see that.
Yeah, every trip is different. It's on a personal level, like I said. It's different per person to person. Sometimes you can see melting things. Oh, that one. Yeah,
Yes,
it's
possible. Yeah, but not really. It's exaggeration. Acid reflux.
So yeah, like I said, you can also prepare a selection of movies. And again, download that shit.
Your favorite tracks. Download your favorite tracks, especially offline. I don't really suggest using SoundCloud, especially if you're gonna go on a nature trip. And I'm pretty sure that the internet won't be working perfectly in that area, so you wouldn't want to be using that. Also, stay away from rap, man. Just fucking stay away from that. Trap. Stay away from that.
Yeah, I remember Peter tried this 5-minute thing on us where he played Love Yours by J. Cole. And by the way, we were peaking at that moment, hooked on one single phone with headphones on, so the music was like Dolby Atmos level. And the message of the song was so powerful that both of you cried. It actually backfired on Peter since he cried too, and I caught it early on because I was also feeling this heavy shit. But I told you guys to get out of that rabbit hole. It's fucking ugly. I mean, don't get me wrong, the message of the song was beautiful, but it's so powerful that it would make you reflect on yourself down the rabbit hole, and the next thing you know, you'll be ugly crying. And if you really want to listen to the song while tripping and you want to internalize that shit, just be prepared, though.
Maybe if you're into EDM, I don't know. Yeah, you can go ahead. But stay away from all those scratchy sounds and metallic sounds.
Well, metallic sounds is good. Yeah, sometimes it glitch. That was Telephone Tel Aviv when we were tripping. Yeah. And again, yeah, download that shit because loading videos are the worst.
And if you're into classical music, then you're in for a good ride. Like, I've never really tried it personally, but I'm gonna update you on my next trip, as if I'm gonna do that real soon. But anyway, there was this one Reddit comment, like he was saying like this Tchaikovsky song. I think it was 1812 Overture. And he was saying, like, I was born, something like, I lived and died 100 times with this track. So you can just imagine.
Yeah, so you can start off with a great material to watch or listen to. I prefer comedy or sci-fi, as long as it's not too heavy on the grim side. Or you can even throw in something educational. Doesn't really matter if you've seen it already. You will totally have a whole new perspective on it as you dive into the experience. And if you didn't understand a certain movie before, you can totally rewatch it. Trust me, you'll get it this time. Again, this is not a standard process, but we're just giving you a few tricks on how to go about your day of exploring the universe. I'll give you some examples. First, for comedy, this is good. Blades of Glory. Sometimes it's not about what they said. It's more on how they said it. Like, the expression of their faces. It's just hilarious. Ace Ventura. Oh my God.
Also, Ace Ventura. I watched that on my first trip, but I was just on half a tab. And so we were watching it, right? And then I actually felt it kick in just in time when Ace Ventura went out of that rhino's ass. So you can just imagine, like, his face was there, like...
Oh my God, yeah.
It's crazy.
The other guys, oh my God, Mark Wahlberg. Are you kidding me? He was dancing ballet. And Will as Gator the pimp, fucking awesome, man. Dazed and Confused, no doubt about it. I'm a 90s kid. Yeah, so there you go. Sci-fi. Oh shit, Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future is the best.
Or also any mindfuck time travel shit.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Never ending story. If you want to relive your childhood. Oh my god, that's my childhood, basically. Or The Flight of the Navigator. Although this one is from the 80s. Though I think it's 86. I wasn't even born yet. Doctor Strange. Oh my god, this one was the last.
Some serious visuals, yes.
Yeah, this will definitely give you some serious visuals. Matrix. Oh my god, we can totally forgive the Wachowski brothers, now sisters, for the CG parts, but all those other elements, Jesus, the underground parties, the wardrobe, and the music, all that can make up for it. The entire concept of this movie is just mind-blowing, and it's still undeniably one of the best cyberpunk movies of all time. Inception. Oh my god. Inception, if you want to get stuck in that limbo. Just kidding. This is also mind-bending. I've seen it a few times, and yeah, that movie is like the best ever.
I just slept on it. I haven't finished watching it.
Oh my god, you need to watch it. Oh, and that new series.
Don't be watching depressive shit like The Beach.
Oh yeah.
No. I don't suggest that. It's just light comedy. Maybe just even for TV series, you can watch Friends. I think and maybe Brooklyn Nine-Nine too. Yeah, that's okay.
For some reasons, whenever we trip out, we watch a movie first.
Yeah.
And whatever we watch, whatever particular movie we watch, the entire flow of my thoughts revolve around that first movie. Yeah. It's funny because the last time we trip out, it was Doctor Strange, right? And the last scene was he was trying to bargain with Dormammu, and it was a loop, a never-ending loop. Yeah. And now my thought process was like, fuck, I'm back to the original movie, which is a consistent loop. And now I'm back to that original thought that I was.
You kept explaining this, but it didn't make sense at first. But
yeah, it doesn't make sense because I was thinking, for the scientists who are studying this shit.
Oh yeah, for maps.
Yeah, with the maps people, like whenever they study this and they go back to the original, the original form or the original thought that they have, and then they have all these processes, and then all of a sudden you will end up going back to the first statement. I can't explain that shit, but when I was under, I was like, yeah, they are fucked. They're totally fucked. They're
never-ending loop.
It's a never-ending loop, and they're stuck there, and that's why they can't figure out what they're studying in the first place. And it was crazy.
And yeah, I think this happened to me too, because I wouldn't have thought about it. Like, Dormammu would have such a huge effect on me. Like, man, I was just enjoying the sunset. Like, I was just chilling there with my friends and listening to some good music. And then all of a sudden, like, the sun had set and it got darker. And then there were some light show and thunder and lightning decided to appear. And I got scared of the lightning, and I thought that, like, hey, we could get hit right here because we're very vulnerable here. We're in an open. Yeah, out in the open. Like, we're just in a beach. And I thought, like, that made me feel really small, though. Like, I have no control over my life. Like, I could be swallowed whole by this love child of Dormammu and Demogorgon. And I just fucking surrendered because I did really... One thing, though, if you have a bad trip, like what I did, it could have been easy to just... walked away or just panicked, but you just have to remind yourself that you're on drugs, and this is just a part of it, and it will all be over soon, and that would have a profound effect on me, really, because in real life, you take yourself so seriously, but then this just happens. It's all like a side effect of life, and you're there, your higher self, the observer of your thoughts. You just tell yourself to chill. You don't really take yourself so seriously, not so much at least, and that it will all be over. So I was able to cope with my inner demon during that time. No matter how lame this sounds, like, it really helped me fight that huge, huge demon, like demon cloud, like the massive fucking cloud that was about to swallow me whole. And I just couldn't run away because I was seeing Alice and Peter just really having fun. And I thought to myself, fuck you. You couldn't fucking spoil this for them, man. Like, look at them. They're having great fun. Just fucking close your eyes. Just whatever. But I didn't close my eyes. I was still like, almost wanted to cry. I just wanted it to end. But eventually, yeah, it did end. And then it got dark. And so they said, like, let's just get head back. And yeah, it was all okay after.
It's actually a good way to face your fears.
Yeah.
Like, you're being courageous that time. Like, you're feeling a bit vulnerable, but at the same time, I'm here, I'm alive, I can conquer this, I can do this shit.
Yeah, but during that time, seriously, like, when you have a problem in real life, you just really want it to end. And trust me, I've been there. I've been, like, suicidal. No drama, though, but, like, if I could, I would just fucking disappear. If I could just get my hand on a heroin, like, I would fucking OD. Like, end it right here, right now. But you just gotta remind yourself, it will all be over. It might take a long time, and it might really suck for a long time, but it will be over.
Exactly. Remember I was telling you about that movie, Divergent?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, while you're having a bad trip, it's kind of like that movie, Divergent, when they induce themselves with some sort of drug, and then they will go inside a test, facing their fears. And then this hero, she was like, she overcame all her fears by saying, it's not real.
Yeah, exactly.
And she broke that glass, like,
oh my god, that's so trippy. That's so Lucy.
yeah. So she was like, that's not real. And then she was breaking the glass using her index finger. And the glass broke and she was free. So I was like, maybe that's the thing. Like, you can just pretty much tell yourself that it's not real. And then you get out of it.
It's all just inside of your head. And I know it can feel very real, like, especially if you have depression, whatever. And it's so much harder for those people with depression. We just have no idea how it works for them. But yeah, always remind yourself, you still have the power, because you're still here, right? So that feeling that you don't want to kill yourself yet, like, that means that you still have that fighting power within you to face it, yeah.
So we're down to educational stuff that you can watch. First, I can suggest The Blue Planet. This is amazing, actually. We were tripping before, and there was a segment there with two seahorses mating. and then the narrator was, like, saying, and then they will spawn. And then from there on, we were, like, fucking laughing our asses off. But yeah, The Blue Planet is amazing. I think it's very important to have some sort of connection with nature every time you embark on that journey. I listened to one of Dennis McKenna's interview in the Joe Rogan Experience, and he mentioned that psychoactive plant medicines are the single most important catalyst for changing consciousness on a global level. And if you believe in Gaia, that the earth itself is an intelligent entity, it seems like it's trying to get our attention by sending us a message through these psychoactive plants, telling us to wake up and stop wrecking this place. I think if you let the medicine teach you, it can potentially change your perspective on our environment. It can spark something in us to start taking care of our Mother Nature. Although, according to other sources, this mentality is not very realistic.
What is high times?
High existence.
High times is for weed.
Yeah. It's not very realistic, even though it is possible. I think it's possible, but it's very slow process. I mean, I have lots of friends who have taken these psychedelics and just went back to their original selves after the trip.
I think this really comes more on not setting intentions when you're on the trip. Because most people, no judgments though. Like, I don't know how you do it though. It's really heavy for me. So I don't know how you can just do it and not get anything out of it. Maybe you're doing it with a lot of people and you're just having fun. That's good too, because it will really help you live in the moment. And it's one of those really, really vivid memories. One of the most vivid memories that you will have, that you will hold for the rest of your life. Like, if you're old and you're going to look back on the memories, this one will really stand out. Every memory of your trip, those will always stand out among the other memories. Even, like, maybe your childbirth or your wedding. This one would still be very vivid. Yeah, you're aware of every moment of your surroundings, everything.
It's not like when you're drunk and then the next day, oh, I forgot this and that. Yeah, it's like you blacked out from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. Like that portion of your memory was lost, or that time was lost.
And other educational stuff that I can share is that I don't know if you're currently into self-help and stuff, maybe you can listen to Sam Harris and then also Jordan B. Peterson or Alan Watts. Alan Watts. So you can listen to that and really internalize that shit. If you're not planning to go out on a nature trip and if you're just gonna do it alone in your bedroom and you really want some self-improvement stuff, something that will really resonate within you, maybe just listening to one of these people will really get you started on the right track.
Even the Joe Rogan podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience, I like that. There's Nikki. Another thing is Cosmos, a space-time odyssey. You can totally watch whatever you want. It's just a matter of your preference or whatever you want to achieve in that particular experience. Abstract, the art of design. These are all available on Netflix, by the way. But yeah, Abstract, the art of design, it was pretty amazing. I like Ez Devlin. She's really great with her stage design and everything. It was, yeah, her entire episode was just art itself. Or you can listen to other podcasts and lectures like the Joe Rogan Experience. Just type in psychedelics on the search box and listen to his amazing interviews with some of the most educated people on this matter. Terrence McKenna lectures. I still have to tap on those, but it's very popular in widening your knowledge on psychedelics.
I just gotta add, if you're into some educational stuff, I don't really suggest reading while you're in acid because the letters will just float right in front of your eyes.
It will melt in front of you.
So yeah, I think audio and just visual, just watching all those things that you're interested in, watch it or just listen for now. Lay off on the reading first.
I still think that music is one of the best things that you can enjoy during a trip. And it's important to prepare a playlist beforehand. Like I said earlier, you don't want to mess with internet, like you don't want to experience that lagging and you're in the zone and then all of a sudden the music stops. Oh. That sucks, right?
Because how I feel after every song, it's like when you're deep down on the trip and then you just hear the last beat, it's kind of a letdown. But then when the next song comes in, it's like, it's another world.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed as well, is how easy you can change your thoughts and feelings every time you play a new song. It's like sometimes you can even experience living a totally different life through a song, but mostly it's for setting your mood and your current condition.
Like one example is Chrome Sparks' album. Is it like a self-titled album? Yeah, so we listened to that, like right down from Rocket to, what's it? Oh, My Perfection. I don't like it though, but like the last song, like Attack, Sustain, Release. So Chrome Sparks' full album from Rocket, those whole songs actually, except for Attack, Sustain, Release. That's so distracting. But anyway, for all of those songs, except for those two, I actually personally lived 100 different lives. Like 100 different lives. And I tasted it. Thank you, Chrome Sparks. If you ever listen to this, oh my God, I just orgasmed.
That was crazy, but yeah, it was amazing. Let's try to set the mood with some soothing tunes from Uri, followed by Chrome Sparks. Very sensual and groovy atmosphere in their song called Sugar. That was hot. Such amazing artist. You can definitely listen to the whole song on Spotify. Again, that was Jungle by Uri, Ouri, and Sugar by Chrome Sparks. We love Chrome Sparks. I love how both songs can bring out such intimate vibes, soulful beats, and colorful energies.
And the flavor. Don't forget the flavor. How does it taste like?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
How does it taste like, Alice?
That glitch percussion, oh my god, complements that ambient voice really well. Both songs have such sweet, sweet elements. In their stint line, I can almost taste it, actually. Yeah. If you are taking this trip with your significant person, you can expect that it's going down.
I mean, I didn't even have a significant other, but like, cool Sparks. You know your shit.
You know your shit. But if you're taking this journey alone, you can always take care of yourself. Now we can start to really get into those life lessons. So have you seen, because this was a movie that I watched maybe 2 days after having an intense trip. Yeah. Have you seen The Perks?
How intense was that? Like 500 micrograms.
Oh my god, yeah, 500.
Dose.
So have you read or seen The Perks of Being a Wallflower? Of course you have. If not, you should watch it.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before, but that was like in 2014. I didn't know it then that they were taking LSD.
Exactly. That's why I was like, let me watch it again. Because I was a little bit bored that time. And, well, that movie is full of lessons. Oh, and really totally trip out in the movie as well. I certainly love that last line that Charlie said as they drove past that tunnel again. He said,
Take this. This is where Lucy was really obvious, right? That's when you told me. Like, you hear Lucy saying this.
yeah, and he said, this moment, when you know you're not a sad story, you are alive, and you stand up and see the lights on the buildings and everything that makes you wonder. And you're listening to that song and that drive with the people you love most in this world. And in this moment, I swear, we are infinite. This line gave me goosebumps when I heard it again after coming out of a very productive trip. I almost cried, honestly, because I was going through a lot of stress from work, and I have all these self-doubts that's been eating me up. I mean, these lines may sound too cheesy for some people, but there's a lot out there that just need to hear it, especially if you're at the lowest point of your life. It can help people understand that life is precious. It's a precious gift. And being alive is one of the most important indicators that you still have time to change whatever it is that you want to change.
I just want to add, like, whatever, like, bad trip stories that we had earlier, this really trumps all the good things that you will experience with LSD. We can guarantee you that. Like, we're not even selling you this shit. I mean, we sound like we're selling this to you,
It's
but
all educational.
But you ever done something in your life that was so good? Like, for example, if you're an adrenaline junkie and you tried ziplining for the first fucking time, and you just, like, you wish people would experience this too. Like, hey, I wish my gramps would still be able to experience this. Or if you're on top the mountains, like the Alps, I was thinking, like, I wish my family was here to experience this shit with me. This is why we're sharing this all to you. Like, if we could just share this to the people that really need it the most, like, change things, change your perspective in life for just 12 hours. It's really profound. It's I can't stress. It's really life changing. And what it said, like, it really makes you wonder. It really makes you see all the little details. You see the plants breathing. You can see the leaves just moving. Like, when I see the leaves now, I'm always just thinking, like, I can see you there. I know you're just breathing. I know you're saying hi to me. But,
we're talking to the leaves, people. We're talking to the leaves.
Yeah, and when we were just about, like, halfway through, swallowed the whole tab, and we can already feel that it's getting there. We were getting there to the trip. Like, it's taking effect. And we can already see the tree swaying, right? Like, it's like they know. They're welcoming us now. It's like they're saying hello. Hey, we can see you. We know you can see us. Like, stuff like that. I know it sounds loony, but tell us about your experiences when you're there. Just let us know.
Oh my god, yeah, that was amazing. Like, and the trees at that place are mostly pine trees, which are very beautiful. Like, you know, the structure and everything is like super soft and like they're swaying and the wind is like really yeah, and it was like it was really cool. Like I want to touch it. I want to touch you guys. Oh my god, I love you. I love nature. Just reach out or something like that. And there was this part of our trip when it was so fucking intense and we were all just laying down and listening to music. And at one point we were playing John Hopkins' latest album, Singularity.
Oh yeah.
And fuck, I really love
That's one recommended.
That's another album that we want to recommend. Singularity by John Hopkins. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I love Emerald Rush. Oh my god. That was like oh my god. That was like I was on the highest level and I was peaking and I felt like I was reduced into this ball and I was thrown out and got sucked back in and do that like multiple times, like 100 times. That was really fast. And I was like, fuck me. Fuck. This was
surrendered.
I just surrendered and I was like, fuck, this was so amazing. And when Astro Junkie told us earlier that she lived and died like 100 times, I felt that actually. I felt that.
I lived 100 lives with the Chrome Sparks album.
Oh yeah, that one. Now I fucking lived 100 lives on this album, John Hopkins' Singularity. It's like, you know, at one point you're being thrown out and got sucked back in, and then the other point you're like, oh, I'm touching these luminous objects. Like you can see, you know, what do you call that? Fireflies flying around or something like that.
And also flying dim sum. Hi, Peter.
Oh my god, that was funny. Morsels of dumplings. Yeah, so that was crazy. That was amazing. And we're just going to play it to you like a sample of John Hopkins' Emerald Rush. Ladies and gentlemen, that was John Hopkins' Emerald Rush. You have to listen to the full album. It's called Singularity. Oh my god, it's the best. Even the titles of his songs, it's like the entire journey. From singularity to recovery. I mean, John, if you're listening to this, I really think that I felt everything. I felt your songs. I felt whatever you felt while you're creating those songs. And it's amazing, amazing. Good job.
Okay, so another guide this time is for the ones that are planning to do it who are total virgins. Yay! So, so if you really have no choice because we have this friend, right? He's really curious. Shout out to you. You know who you are. So he's planning to go to Taiwan, right? I think it's safe to say nobody knows who you are, so it's okay to say where you're going. Okay, so yeah, he's planning to go to Taiwan, and he got this acid. I'm so tempted to say something more. But anyway, so he asked me, like, what would be your guide because I gave him some pointers, like, hey, I can be there for you. I would be sober because I just did it, like, a couple weeks ago, and I don't want to do it again, but I said, like, I will be there for you, man. Like, I will be your spirit guide, so it's okay. But he said he's not going to be available because he's going to be in Taiwan. So I have to give him a new guide. So he said, like, what if we're both first-timers? And I said, are you sure that you're, like what we advised you earlier, are you sure that you're familiar with this person? You're comfortable with him or her? And are you sure that you're going to be safe with this person? And are you sure that you're going to find, like, a nice, quiet place down there? So as total virgins, one advice would be to have an open and stable mind and make sure no one, if you're going to with a group, make sure that no one in the group gets lost. Since, let's face it, you're all noobs here. And there's really no one there. It's really unpredictable. It actually has more risks, right? Because there's no one there to guide anyone if anyone freaks out. If you don't know how to handle this, if one of you does not know how to handle this, it's so hard to take care of someone when you're tripping out. I swear. So I would go so far as to suggest that you just go with just the one person you truly trust. So be it your partner, girlfriend, because I actually know someone, Peter's friends. They tripped for the first time. They just got this hotel by the beach. And they just tripped. They just listened to music, fucked all day. It's amazing, right? So it should be your partner, best friend, or just someone you totally vibe with. And that is interesting. Because you can use that interesting part about 5 hours down the trip when you decide to talk after lying down and listening to some music. If that someone is really interesting, you share some ideas. Like with me and Alice, we shared our ideas, we read our intentions aloud, and what we have learned so far. So during the first 6 hours, it might be hard. So just write it down. And if one is going through something, like with this friend who's going to Taiwan, he was actually telling me, like, he's trying to get over someone, right, Alice? So just listen to each other's issues, one at a time, of course, and find a way to deal with it. Help each other out. Because, of course, it's like you're tapping to your higher self when you're on acid. So just help each other out, and you will be more reasonable when you're in acid. So it's the best time to really dissect all the shit that you're going through, basically. The life lessons. Like, why did this person break up with me? Maybe if you still, for example, this is just an example, of course. If you're trying to get over someone, and you're just putting all the blame on this someone, maybe it's time that you reflect on yourself. It takes two to tango, you know. Hey, like, wake the fuck up. Like, maybe there's, for sure, you have some faults too. You're not faultless totally. So find that in yourself, do some digging, and that will really help you out. Okay, so also, please do not get into an argument. This is what I've learned. This is really humbling because, we just talked about this. It does nothing. Honestly, if the person is not really, like, hurting others, why would you convince someone to believe your views, right? So you just gotta share your thoughts, and how that person processes it is entirely up to him or her. So you just gotta plant that seed, watch it grow, or not. That's okay too if it doesn't grow. Just at least you've shared your ideas. So again, stay at a safe place. Since you're all virgins, because it can get really overwhelming. So
I remember when we were at the beach, you guys were ready to go and find some food, and I wasn't ready, and I was like, guys, wait, I'm not ready yet. Can you guide me? Remember that time when I was like, shit, I'm not ready yet. I can walk, but guys, please hold my hands.
We were going to watch. When we went out and we were headed to the beach to watch the sunset.
Oh no! After the sunset.
Really?
I was still
after Dormammu.
Yeah. After that, you guys were like ready to go, and find some food, and I was like, no, I still can't do this. I mean, I was still laughing, right? So if both of you are like virgins on this and you have no idea what the other person is feeling, then just be sensitive about it and be open and honest about your current situation, current state. Like, if you're not feeling like going out, or if you're not feeling like eating or something, just be open. Just be honest. Let them know. And maybe they can adjust to whatever state you are at.
Or maybe just ride with it, you know? One thing that Peter told me was that you just respect it and just go with it. I mean, just go with the flow and just don't think about it so much, because it's always different. Every trip is different according to what type of person you are, like what Dennis McKenna said, right?
Yeah, definitely. And also, you can totally have a different activity for the day. Yeah. These are all based on previous experiences that we had, but you can choose whatever activity you want. Of course, safe activities. Don't drive. We don't suggest that. I mean, not in a million years that we would suggest you driving on LSD. Anything that you can do without running on anything dangerous, like swimming out in the ocean. Well, we did that.
Yeah, it's okay. But
it's okay, but
water.
Yeah, shallow water. Just in a safe place, or and yeah, totally safe activities that you can do. But you can mix and match. It doesn't necessarily mean that if it works for me, it will work for you, right?
So, since we're still on the first time guide, if you're all noobs, I would suggest that you just do some light stuff, I guess. You're not yet ready to do a lot of intense stuff. So, if you both play instruments, then jam. If you're into writing, collaborate, share ideas. Maybe you can even come up with a plan you can take action on after the trip, what we're doing now. Yeah, we just talked about this actually over yesterday. So thank you, Lucy, for this idea. We actually had a lot of ideas, but this was the only, one of those, doable
idea.
And, we can do it.
But we're pretty much doing it in our bedroom.
Exactly, in our underwear. So another suggestion is that, I mentioned this earlier, if you feel like you're stuck in a rut, trying to move on, trying to get rid of attachments, trying to forgive someone, use this time to really find it within you, or find your calling. Write that down on your intentions. Meditate. Just focus on your breathing, and just read up before you drop acid. Just read up on maybe how to do meditation, the mindfulness meditation. So for the first 3 hours there, go ahead and just lay back, be comfortable, just be quiet, focus on your breathing. And if your mind wanders and see visions, of course you will see visions. It's going to be awesome. Just watch that without judgment and feel your higher self coming out and observing your thoughts. At least that's what happened to me. That's what the intention that I've set. I mean, tap into my higher self, the better version of myself, really, because I've just been making bad decisions, and you know that. So I wanted to have Bad Decisions Wednesday. Shout out. So I just really wanted to tap on my higher self and be able to listen more to my intuition. And so, if you want to get over someone, learn to let go. It sounds cliche, but this is the truth. The answer is just right there with you. Maybe you're hearing all this, you're listening to this, because you really need to hear this. As spiritual quotes would say, deep down, you already know the truth. Again, a cliche, but that's true.
That's true, yeah. Cliches are there for a reason.
And you would think that, again, I just got this from Joe Rogan, you would say, these are all cliches. This is common sense. Yeah, but common sense is not very common these days. That's why I love Joe Rogan. It's very, very straightforward. So, anyway, you just gotta listen to your higher self again. Tap into that. You know, that voice that tells you to stop smoking cigarettes because it's bad for you, but you still do it anyway. Okay, I've been there, and I gotta tell you, I just gotta say this. I haven't smoked in 3 weeks since the last trip. Yeah. Yay. So,
me too. I actually quit because I put a note to myself. I made a contract with myself saying that this will be your last cigarette, and don't you dare tell me that your last cigarette isn't memorable enough, because it is fucking memorable. And I was on LSD, and it was like, fuck, this is gonna be the last stick ever. And it's been how many months? Like
2 months.
2 months, yeah. Yay, I made it. And just to add on what Astro Junkie was saying about setting intentions, and adding on to what I said about my goals before when I had those double doses, I was like, okay, let's set these goals and let's create a documentation of everything. And I fucking set that goal to document every thought that I have during the trip. Oh my god, I even said Peter was disgusting on my notes. And I was typing the whole time. And
he farted, right?
yeah, because he farted. That was funny. And while I was reading my notes after the trip, I was so surprised of what I've written down. I was so surprised that, who is this girl writing? She's like so fearless. I don't know. Yeah, like I don't even know who's this girl writing. I mean, I even told myself to collaborate with these artists that I was idolizing up until today. I was like, I was friends with these artists, but I'm so fucking scared of asking them or even talking to them sometimes, because I was like, fuck, these guys, they know what they're doing, even if they're sober. And I was like, fuck, I want to talk to them so badly because I want to tap into their art and maybe learn a lot of stuff from them. And I wrote to myself on that note, fucking talk to these people. They're just people, for God's sakes. They're just human. You can pretty much just talk to them on Messenger, on Instagram, or anywhere, pretty much, or in person. And you just ask them if they want to collaborate with you, right? Like, they're just people. I mean, you don't have to be afraid of anything. And I realized that while I was tripping. And I think that's a good thing. I mean, if you're tripping out to become a better version of you,
Yourself, definitely.
Yeah, then I would definitely do this again.
Yeah, I would definitely, but not anytime soon though. There has to be like an interval.
Oh yeah.
That one was pretty intense. So
that one was pretty intense, and to tell you the truth, it's not highly addictive. I'm not.
That's a good.
Yeah, it's not really. I mean, I don't have the urge to do it. It's like, it's so hard because it's so hard to just pop one in. Like, you know, it's not like you have all these time in your hands. Of course, you have to plan it. You have to build around it before you can just
set a date,
set a goal, set a place where you have to really plan it ahead. So it's not like you can just pretty much snort it or anything. It's not addictive at all. Like, I don't have any urges to do it anytime soon.
Actually, to quote one of those guys from the Joe Rogan podcast, I'm trying to look for his name, but he's like, this author, he said, like, it's actually anti-addictive. LSD is anti-addictive. I gotta tell you that. And also, there's this doctor before. Dr. Humphrey Osmond. I wish I could get the right name, but like Humphrey Osmond, he was one of those doctors that I think he was one of those doctors that experimented with LSD with alcoholics and with mentally ill patients. And for what I read was with alcoholics, he was able to reduce those alcoholics for like a 70% with no relapse, something like that. 70% improvement on those alcoholics. So that's a huge deal, and it makes you appreciate the normal life even more. That's what happens. You notice all the little details when you go back to the flat, normal world. There's no crash, too, by the way. There's no crash. Like, for the first 6 hours, you will peak, right? And then the next 6 hours, you will just feel it dissipating. Like, you will just feel it slowly, gradually. You're getting back to normal. But I think the only negative side effect here is just insomnia.
Yeah.
Because we started around 2:30 p.m. and we slept around 4:30 a.m. So that was just it. Yeah, so it's anti-addictive, and you will have more appreciation for life, really, because this might just be, well, the experience that you need to shake things up. But, like, it will definitely help you see the other perspectives in life. Like, for example,
you have all these set programming in your mind, right? Like we all have these negative self-talks. Growing up, like you're told you're never gonna be good enough, blah blah, and you believe that. Like you're not pretty, you're whatever, you're like this, you're like that. You have to be this to be better. It's just so much noise around. But when you're on acid, you understand that no, this is not your limit. All those programming that you were told to believe ever since you were young, like you're a fucking loser. You're not gonna amount to anything. It's not true. It's really just all inside of your head. And you will really find that power within you to change your life. So yeah, just so let us know if you've tried it and tell us about your realizations.
Comment.
Like
Put a
put a comment. We will also send like maybe an email address where you can reach us at, so we can read out your realizations.
The Tryp.
And hopefully it inspires other people too.
Based on my notes, it says here. It says here. I mean, remember I started documenting while we were tripping, and on my notes, it says here, note, this is good, read me. It says read me in big letters. And I was like, a podcast reviewing people's insightful realizations after tripping and judging people on how they trip, if it's still moral or not. And this way, your being judgmental will be put to good use. Because you get to sift through all those nasty thoughts and darkness in people. And people who resonates love and happiness and creativity in them. It was unfiltered, raw thoughts during that time. And now we're making a podcast. Yay! We're making it happen. We're doing it now. And I'm like, yeah, we can practically evolve this thing into an educational podcast instead of just reading other people's realizations. I mean, yeah, that was just really petty thought before, but now it evolved into some sort of, educational, more towards educational material. Yeah. So, and that's practically the reason why we created this. I mean, again, we're not experts on anything. We're just basing it off on our experience and from other people's experience based on what they post. And the scientists who are actually studying this shit, we're basing it off on them. But we're just removing all those, stigma, negativities. And we're practically just telling you all the good stuff that
just guiding you if you're curious. So we're basically just guiding you. If you're curious to try LSD, it's best that you approach it with the right knowledge and without all the stigma, and just respect it, man. Because this is heavy stuff, and it's
not risk free.
It's really heavy, and it really comes with risks, but the good ones, man. Like all the good stuff that you're gonna experience, it trumps like anything. Let's go to the right amount of LSD that you should try on your first trip. Okay, so here we go. For your first time, I suggest that you take around 70 to 150 micrograms. For me, I've tried, because the whole blotter paper, so it's worth like 250 micrograms. So it was split in half, so it's like 125, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I tried 125 for my first time. It was cool, but some of my friends, the one that told me to go back in time and relive those moments, he told me he just took around 70 to 80 micrograms, and he was feeling really good. Because the usual here is around 150 micrograms. Yeah. So they split it, and it's around 70 micrograms. So that's the safest one. And of course, you wouldn't want to be taking a lot of doses, especially if you think, like with our friend who's going to Taiwan, he says like he has a really low tolerance for stuff. But with acid, it's just okay. I suggest that you don't mix it with alcohol just yet, or weed.
Yeah.
If it's your first time. Mm-hmm. Right? And also, make sure that you're getting it from a credible source, of course.
Yeah, there's a lot of fake ones out there.
And do not take acid from strangers. I know it's expensive. I know it's fucking expensive, but like, if you just get it for free from a total stranger, like you're fucking risking your life, man. Like, people have died from ecstasy that's from shady sources. So let's just be careful out there. Ours was like a really reliable source, and he's already used it for himself. And it just so happened that we got to know this person, and he just became our spirit guide. So one of my notes said, like, I'm just gonna read this out loud, but it's already edited because it was just so fast, and I was just writing, just blabbering down on my notes. I just realized that one thing I've learned while tripping is that whatever thoughts you send out to the world, it really gets sent out and received by this life force, or let's call it the universe, a higher power, God. So this made me realize that our thoughts are really powerful. Again, going back to it changes your perspective, and it really just dissolves all the negative self-talks, all the negative programming that you've been carrying with you your whole life. Like, you're not even aware that you were programmed, but you will realize all this when you're in acid. So we gotta give out love, happiness, and compassion, because that will just definitely get sent out, and that will just multiply. It will just keep coming back to us. So now I have this profound understanding of karma. Like, it's real. I felt it when I just sent a message that I wanted to tell my dead uncle that I loved him. I wanted to travel. It's hard to explain. I just wanted to travel and see him again while I wasn't tripping for the first time. But I got scared because I might not be able to go back, you know. I don't know how that happens, but I feel like that was possible. I feel like that was possible if I crossed that line. But I just said, like, no, just please send him a message that I love him. And I sent it out to the universe just inside my head. And I felt like it was really just sent out, and it came back to me like message sent. Something like that. It was sent, and I felt him, and he said, like, I love you back, or something like that.
That's cool. That's a cool experience. I wish I have that experience.
You can do that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Maybe next time. I don't know. Yeah, time traveling. So back to my notes. I have all these amazing thoughts while I was under LSD, and I was like, I told myself, please remind yourself to just be organized and finish tasks one at a time. I know you think you can multitask, but in reality, you get so overwhelmed by everything that you just don't want to do anything, and that's the black hole that is procrastinating. Just get your ass out there and be the fucking artist that you want to be, or, you know, business person that you want to be. Just, you know, just do it. I was psyching myself. Actually, I was psyching myself to do whatever the fuck I want to do. Before, I have all these, you know, self-doubts, and I was thinking that my talents aren't enough, and I'm not, you know, people person. Yeah. I'm not a people person. I don't know how to, you know, talk to other people or how to be normal in front of everyone. My brain is practically like a loose cannon. Like, I could practically think of something, do it, and then drop it, and then do another thing. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, sometimes there's a lot of things that I want to do, but I just need to be organized. And that time while I was tripping, I was like reminding myself to be organized and not to overdo things, and just let your natural, unique self just be, you know?
Just be. And just tap into your higher self.
And yeah, exactly. Oh, and I wrote here another thing about appreciating other people's art or music or anything. If you know the artist personally, if you really, really appreciate the art or the music, just message them. Let them know that you appreciate it. They probably have, like, all those self-doubts as well. Like, they're human. I'm human, and I feel those self-doubts. And if someone, just even one person who appreciates my work or my music or whatever, and they message me or something, I would feel good about myself. I would feel good about what I'm doing, right? Definitely. So just
be generous.
Yeah.
So just say kind words, man, because it really means a lot to people. As I said, like, just spread good vibes, and it will just keep coming back to you.
Yeah, pass the loop. Or pass the loop. Like, because artists might appreciate that someone is getting or writing their shit or whatever they're doing, no matter what art form it is, you know? Just message them and let them know.
Also about empathy. And I think it's best that you're good at it. Because you keep reminding me about it. Like, with acid, right? You see people as they really are, with no barriers, no bullshit, like no walls that we usually put up, you know, because it's normal. It's part of survival. You need to set up walls, or else people will just think you're a fucking pushover or whatever. We get scared. But, you know, with acid, especially with people that you're comfortable with, again, point number 1, right? You have to be with people that you're really comfortable with, and you will really see them for what they are. And that's when you realize, you know, we come from different walks of life, and we're just really programmed with the things that we grew up with all the influences. So just be more understanding. I mean, this is also hard coming from someone who is really short-tempered. But yeah, after like all those trips,
She has all these like anger management issues.
yeah, for sure. I have to. Yeah, I admit that totally. I'm really short fused, and I get so triggered about like not social justice warrior trigger, but like someone, for example, who is like being misogynistic. That's really a trigger to me, and so I have to understand where is this sexist asshole coming from. Maybe he did not get enough attention from his parents, right? Or
Doesn't like himself very much.
yeah, he doesn't like himself very much. He's just living with all this self-loathing that he's trying to project on me. So it's hard, though. It's still hard. So it's a practice, and Lucy will take you there. LSD will really make you understand a lot of things. So again, set your intentions down. Exchange thoughts with your friends and see what they're thinking about it.
Yeah, that's good. I, on the other hand, I'm doing this no judgment thing. Like, it's hard. It's hard.
It is.
People are normally judgmental, you know, but I'm doing this thing to not judge other people based on what they did or what they do or based on their looks or whatever. I'm just like, I'm keeping my mind open with a lot of possibilities that this person, you know nothing about what's on their minds. Like, you know nothing about their past. You know, maybe you know something, but those things are just superficial. What you see and what you hear from them are just superficial. You have no idea where they came from, or I don't know, like these people who are calling other people basic. I don't agree with that. Like, what do you know about this person you're calling basic, right? And also, if you've already tried any type of psychedelics, there's no fucking reason to judge people who haven't tried any psychedelics at all, because, you know, your personal experience are different from anyone. Like, yes, you could be enlightened, or you could have like all these new realizations in life, and you're thinking that, oh, these people who haven't tried psychedelics, you're a loser or something like that. Don't think that, because, dude, psychedelics should be teaching you a lesson and not to feel above other people who hasn't tried psychedelics.
And in fact, when you've taken a higher dosage, and we don't suggest that you take this on your first trip, of course, but maybe on your second, third trips, like I did, I took the full tab on the second one, and you will just feel like your ego is melting. It will really humble you. Like that Dormammu thing, that's when I felt like, dude, I'm not even narcissistic, but I mean, like, I just realized even more, like, how small I really am. Like, yeah, you just realize, like, you're just a really small speck in the world, and this lightning could fucking kill you right here and now. Yeah. And Dormammu could have swallowed me. Well, I felt like he could have swallowed me.
On my end, I was like, I felt small when you guys were swimming, and I was like, fuck, all these realizations that I have, I felt really small in this universe. Like, all my problems, it's nothing compared. It's nothing compared to all the problems in the world. Like, fuck, I'm so fucking lucky. I have everything that I need. I'm so fucking thankful. After our trip, I was so fucking thankful that I'm alive. I'm healthy. I have all these extra activities that I can do. I have extra time. I have everything that I need.
Job.
Yeah, I have a wonderful job. I have everything that I need. And all I can think of is how to improve on myself, improve on my perspective, improve on not judging people or being more understanding. Because you really know nothing about anybody. Even your closest friends or your loved ones, you know nothing about what they're thinking unless you have a superpower, like you know what they're thinking ahead. I mean, that's not possible. You know nothing about what they're feeling or what they're anxious about or their insecurities in life. Sometimes you even think you know this person, but then all of a sudden you would hear something like, oh, I have this insecurity. And then you,
Out to Peter.
oh my God, hey. Yeah, so it's like, dude, don't judge a person based on anything because we're all human. We're just fucking trying to survive, We have all these attitudes and personalities and behaviors and mistakes and good traits and stuff like that. It's all different. So how can you judge a person based on one particular instance or one particular feature of themselves? I mean, I was even thinking, even machines, there's no such machine that I can think of that is so perfectly made and like, okay, we stop there and we're not going to invent another, another higher version of this particular, like the iPhone, right? I mean, they don't stop at iPhone 5. They keep on getting better and better. So even machines, they evolve into a higher version of the first one. So why not us? Why don't we have a new Alice 2.0 or Astro Junkie 3.0, Like, we need a fresh perspective to pretty much, like, get out of the box, look at yourself outside the box, and see your surroundings and see what are your influences in life. And, where are you getting those ideas? Where are you getting... Yeah, how you grew up and how you're growing right now, like who's feeding you ideas in life. You need to see that on a different perspective.
So basically what LSD does is like you're taking a step back from yourself and you see yourself for who you really are, stripped down, like to the core. All right, so I think we're getting a bit sleepy. Alice and I, we need your sleep too because we have been very productive.
Human. Come on, people. We're human.
We've been very productive this week, so tune in to our next episode. It's going to be exciting. We will be discussing about microdosing. If you're not ready for the full or the half tab just yet, and you're just curious about microdosing, we will talk about that on the next podcast. Also, another topic is sex on LSD. So how is it really like, Alice? Are you gonna tell us about it?
Maybe next episode. Watch out for it.
So yeah, 0 to 100 real quick. So stay tuned, and also we're gonna be reading some profound and maybe ultra funny musings on acid. We have to scour the internet. And if you also got something to share, leave us a message. No judgments, I swear. And of course, you can always just go anonymous. Or maybe you can just go promote your Facebook or Instagram. We will give you a shout out. And let us know what you want us to talk about. Yeah, what do you want us to discuss? LSD or mushrooms related? Psychedelics related, yeah.
Yeah, you can leave us a message on the Tryp show at gmail.com because we haven't had any sponsors yet. So we're poor. We don't have our own website yet, but we're going to create that shit from scratch.
Yeah, give us a break. This is our first podcast. Give us a break. Yeah.
We're going to totally build this thing, and yeah, we're going to just have fun doing this.
Yeah, so thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye.